Good evening. Welcome to This Week in Review. Tonight's stories include...
It was brought to Burgeo because I think...
I'll just stick this shot in.
A good example because we offer a range of computer courses.
And more, so please stay tuned.
The War Amps of Canada, helping amputees since the First World War. Today, the War Amps meets the special needs of child amputees. CHAMP provides recreational limbs, financial assistance, seminars, support for parents, counseling, and a chance to meet other amputees. What about the future? CHAMP graduates will carry on the tradition of amputees helping amputees with your support of the Key Tag service.
If we keep taking from the land, it won't have anything left to give. In the end, we'll all lose. But there are ways to help. They don't require complicated technology, and they don't cost much. They're techniques inspired by local people. USC Canada is working with partners in Africa, building fences to protect farmland from wind erosion, laying simple catchments to trap scarce rainwater and coax food crops to grow, planting saplings to help reforest barren land. It's starting to work, and it doesn't take a miracle. What it does take is long-term commitment so that today's children will have something to inherit and more to pass on. I'm Bruce Coburn for USC Canada, 56 Spark Street, Ottawa.
Our MHA, the Honorable David Gilbert, was in town this past week. He stopped by our studio for an interview.
Welcome to our studio once again, Mr. Gilbert. It's your first visit, hopefully of many, for the new year.
Thank you very much, David. Yes, it's been a little over a month since I was here now. I think it was around the 15th or 16th of December the last time I was here. So it's good to be back. And as always, it's nice to visit Burgeo and to have a look around and see all the great things that's happening here.
Have you heard anything further on the fish plant situation here in Burgeo?
No, David, I haven't. I guess that over the Christmas period, everybody sort of sat back on their oars a little bit. I have been talking to Mr. Kendall now. He's the chairman of the Action Committee, and I plan to have a meeting with him later on this week and see where they're going. I'm concerned about the fish plant in Burgeo, as I have been for some time. And my main concern is the fact that, now we have, the workers, I suppose, are looked after in some sort of a way by virtue of the fact that they're on the, by now, famous package for the Northern Cod Moratorium. But the thing that I'm concerned about is the fact that back last fall, Mr. Crosby was investigating the sea freeze deal to see if Mr. Barry broke the deal. Now, I haven't heard from Mr. Crosby. He said he was coming to Burgeo to talk to the people and explain the details of it, and once he had his investigation carried out. So I would assume that the investigation is carried out because I guess the investigation was carried out in conjunction with the investigation to see if the Burgeo plant qualified for the Nolan Cod, and we know now that it did, so that's a fait accompli. But now we've got to find out what happened to that agreement. The Canso plant is still open, I understand. I understand that Mr. Barry is landing fish there. But what is the story on the Burgeo plant? He said, that he wasn't going to open it, but did he break the agreement? If he broke the agreement, what is Mr. Crosby and the Federal Department of Fisheries going to do about it? The agreement was made, if you remember, to ensure that both Burgeo and Canso operated. It had nothing to do with Nolan Cod. The fact that Burgeo was on the Nolan Cod package is by virtue of the fact that traditionally, before the Barry took it over, they were producing Nolan Cod. So this that proved that, yes, they did produce enough in 1990 to qualify, as they had in 89 and all the rest of the years back, where, traditionally a portion of the production in this plant was Nolan Cod. But with the agreement that was signed by Seafreeze, Northern cod was not going to have any part in it at all. Now we know that there's been a reduction in, you know, the fish in the Gulf and in the 3PS and the 3PN, where traditionally the fish would come into Burgeo, the redfish and whatever was brought into Burgeo would come from. But when I see the Cancel plant is operating and Burgeo is not, I'm concerned. And I think that Mr. Cosby has to answer, first of all, did Bill Barry break the agreement? If he did, what's he going to do about it? And then I think the other thing that's got to be done is that, you know, they've got to sit down with Bill Barry. He says he has problems with the union here. Well, I think that, you know, that problem has got to be straightened up.
Mr. Gilbert's interview will be shown in its entirety at a later date.
The Red Cross have visited Burgeo a number of times in the past few years. They made their first visit in 1982 when they did a typing clinic. In 1990, they booked 286 people, 229 of which attended, and 173 units of blood were collected. In August of 1991, 236 people were booked, 177 of which attended, and 153 units of blood were collected. In September of 1992, 77 people were booked for a Rh-positive sampling clinic, and 66 people attended and gave a sample of blood. You receive special Red Cross lapel pins as you reach donation levels of 5, 10, 20, etc., and certificates are awarded to donors as they reach 35th, 50th, 75th, etc. donation levels. Well, a resident of Burgeo received a very special presentation this past week.
Jim, on behalf of the Canadian Red Cross Society, I'd like to present you with this certificate. The certificate reads, presented to James S Marsden, who voluntarily gave 35 donations of blood, thus demonstrating generosity and
I'll just insert that while you're reading it.
Canada. And you get a little drop, blood drop 35 of it. Jim, on behalf of the Red Cross.
When going to give a donation of blood, it is very important that you bring along your donor card. This card is very important for identification purposes, and also each donation that you make can be recorded. Two representatives from West Viking College were in town this past week. I had an interview with them on Tuesday.
I'm speaking with Douglas Follow, president of the West Viking College, and Pat Power, area director for Bay St. George. Can you give us a brief history on West Viking College? I know it's been a popular name around Burgeo, especially this last year.
Well, we're certainly glad to hear that it's popular. The name West Viking College, of course, is a very recent name because our Board of Governors only selected it last August. But we're glad to see that it's beginning to be fairly widely known and fairly widely accepted around the area. The college itself, of course, goes back quite a ways, but yet there have been 2 or 3 significant developments over the last 15 years that have really resulted in getting us where we are today. Most recent development is the new Colleges Act, which was only passed in 1991, that set up the present college as West Viking is presently constituted. Previous to that, we were Western Community College, and as Western Community College, we covered most of the West Coast, but not the Corner Brook area. Corner Brook area was taken care of by the Fisher Institute under that particular legislation. And previous to that, going back to 1977, we were the Bay St. George College. So if I can just turn that around in reverse, when Bay St. George College started in 1977, we were only responsible really for programming in the actual Bay St. George area, Bay St. George, Port-au-Port Peninsula, and the Robinsons, Highlands, and Davids area on the south side of Bay St. George. That was our region. And we were that way for about 10 years until around 1985-86, the government decided to expand the college system right across the province and in turn establish Western Community College at that point and the Fisher Institute in Corner Brook. And then, of course, most recently, back to 1991, the new college legislation made the Fisher Institute part of the West Viking College. So now we're a single institution with multiple campuses. We have a campus in Port Basque. We have another campus in Bay St. George, which Pat is the area director of, and that campus is actually responsible for the entire...
At Participaction, we've been out talking to some very special Canadians, finding out how active living helps them deal with stress. Growing up can be challenging. How to keep it all in perspective? For this group of teens, physical activity helps.
A lot of times just sit around and worry about it, build up stress or whatever. It's nice to just get out and work it off.
Even if you're not a great skater, you do kind of get just caught up in the speed and the energy of it.
You sort of just get all the other stuff on your mind. You're not worrying about it so much.
You can work off so many emotions when you play.
You can choose what works for you just for the fun of it.
You can never know how fun it is or how good you'll feel unless you try it.
Different activities work for different people. Tai Chi goes deeper than exercise for Rajan Madsen.
I thought it was beautiful the first time I saw Tai Chi. It's so gentle and it's almost like a dance.
As the mother of 9 children, life can be stressful.
It's a break from the household chores.
And there are more benefits.
It's good for the circulation, flexibility, balance. It's for people of all ages.
Active living, stress release, fun, and energy. Participaction, moving your way every day.
For almost a century, there's been a group of people working hard for Canada, fighting for this country. Now they are uniting to keep Canada together. The Royal Canadian Legion supports Canadian unity.
3, 2. Residents of Burgeo experienced several power outages over the past week, the first one being on Sunday afternoon.
The Senate can create an upper house.
We've had a number of inquiries as to when we would be taping our next game show just for the fun of it. Well, that show was taped this past week.
Be sure and tune in on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock for Just for the Fun of It, when we'll have the Battle of the Grads.
And ready, set, and draw.
H. Oh, wait, no, Julius. Is that a watch? A timing? It's a quartz. Watch. Watch my back.
Road?
I don't know what that is.
I don't either.
It looks sort of like one of these slippers that on
Lips.
the seat used to wear.
Watch your lips.
Lips, kiss. Lips. Lip.
Talk.
Mouth.
No. Lips. Talk.
Is that lips? Rolling Stones.
Tongue. Tongue. Watch your tongue.
Very good.
We have another full lineup of playback schedule for the upcoming week. They include
water and the sun is just setting. And in a few hours from now, on this very shore, 1,000 million lives will be launched.
And of course, tune in on Saturday morning for everyone's favorite furry friend, Pansy, on Storytime at 11 a.m. and on Sunday night at 8:30 for This Week in Review, followed by Driftwood and Friends.
I sometimes has to leave town unexpected, like on business. Yeah, business. But I make sure my house is safe. I follow the tips in this brochure the IBC puts out. Louis the Rock, my neighbor here, collects my newspapers. And I make sure that the tools are locked away, real secure like. Fingers Al is a bit of an expert with locks. Lefty rigged the gizmo to turn lights on and off so that people think we's home. We play it safe. After all, you can't trust everyone. I'm out of here.
For more information on tips to protect your home against burglary, write for IBC's free brochure.
Burgeo Broadcasting System, serving the community of Burgeo for 10 years. 18 channels to choose from, including a local community channel with all the latest in community happenings, events, entertainment, and a whole lot more. Something for everyone. Sports, news, music, soaps, movies, you name it, you'll find it on one channel or another. BBS, Burgeo's owned and operated community cable company.
After he goes past that sign, that's where it starts to get bad. Really bad.
You full of strike here yesterday, Tour?
Yeah, man, the twice coming out through. Going this round too late.
That was in four-wheel drive?
No, that's in my van.
The van.
I don't say anything like that.
That's fairly high compared to cars, you know.
Yeah.
Cars.
Should be about the same height as this one, I guess. And this is all caused by the crowd that's crushing the gravel here, right?
Some, you know, the trucks aren't steady in here all day long. Yeah. Two dump trucks, I believe I see. Most of the time.
Go here to keep.
Now, if this gets wet here, never go through it. Just spin everything.
Right now where it's hard, you gotta have the right ruts.
Okay. The near place that I can get up on, really, that's
over on this side, line.
I should switch over, like it's hard to follow.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll fall on top of this one here now for a while.
Yesterday, I got a job steering. This was soft and keep cutting all over the place, eh?
Yeah. Squishing, eh? So it just froze here this morning.
Yeah.
All down low gear. So I'll go on.
Oh, yeah.
100% better here this morning as it was yesterday.
You wouldn't do anything with this in a car. No, I mean, if the...
You should see it yesterday.
Wear soft, yeah.
Because, I mean, there's something like a small car wouldn't be able to straddle it, and they wouldn't be able to... This one is high, and she'd be able to, without striking, eh?
Yesterday it was like the side. You couldn't just follow one place like you're doing now.
No, because I'll squish, eh?
Well, that's it for tonight's program. Please stay tuned now for the bandwagon. Before we go, we'd like to remind you that tickets for the Miss Winter Carnival pageant will be going on sale tomorrow. You can obtain your tickets by calling Grace Marsden at 886-2117. And remember, if you want good seats, be sure and get your tickets early. On behalf of BBS and all BBS volunteers, I'm Dave Cooper, wishing you a great week. Good night.